Welcome everybody to a new For Honor video. In this video I will be discussing Kensei versus assassins. So if you've really been feeling like assassins are a bunch of bullies, or you've been destroyed or melted by light attacks using Kensei, I will be trying to help tighten up your defenses as well as showing you how to defeat them in different strategies. Alright, so for me to start, we're going to start with Shaman, and we're just going to basically, kind of space out and try to figure out how's the best to kind of just dodge it and her dash attack. It's pretty easy to get away from her dash attack, but you can get baited out of it, you know what I'm saying? But that's it, really. She dashes to you, that's a swift strike, and that's it. So next thing, her unblockable. So we're gonna try the attack. Let me see. Hold on. That's not it. Show that. Okay, there you go. Okay. So when she's throwing out that heavy, I mean, you can just see it's very easy to counter and move around with your dodges and your swift strikes. Let's start that out. Let's start that over. It's all just reaction time. Keeping yourself, keeping yourself away, spacing, and just reacting. You can even dodge towards her attack. You know what I mean? And that's it. It's just a counter game with Shaman. Now, one of the things that I wish I could do is have more of a live presentation, because some people tend to play her differently, of course, than a bot is, and her dash, they like to feint the dash, so that could be a tough thing there that I would like to reproduce here, but I can't. But yeah, but even then it's still just a reactionary thing that you're gonna have to do. It's just you're reacting to what she's doing, and you're a counter, basically a straight counter to that dash attack will be a swift strike. So onto her zone. As soon as you see that as soon as you see her cursor, it's just dodge to that side. But of course she can counter that. I wish they had more presets for this, so that I could actually after she zones, the different changes in that. But yeah, her zone opens up with 3 attacks, and even if you get hit with the 3, you can still dodge. You know what I'm saying? Even if you get hit with, you can still dodge that, get that superior block. You know what I mean? Her dodges, her zone is strong because it gives her a lot of options, but swift strike wins all. Wins all. So, and that'll interrupt her zone. As far as that, those are my 3 points on Shaman. The dash attack, her unblockable, and her zone. The answer to all three of those angles is just being able to react and swift striking out of a lot of the things. Offensively. Alright, so we had to kind of cut away, try to do another thing here. This is, again, not a player, a bot, but this is a level 3 Shaman, and I know sometimes a Shaman will cause a bit of a catastrophe, a bot, so I'll just have her set to AI. Okay, there we go. Hey, see, there we go, that's what I need. Alright, so it's not necessarily going to be exactly a person, but just she should open up certain things that I can show as far as how I would play her as a Kensei. There we go. Okay, we got some real stuff going on here. But yeah, everything is cautionary, you know. Everything is reactionary. Sorry about that. Reaction. There we go. All right. This shaman better than a lot of players though. All right, so look, every time there's something like that, there's spacing. They're gonna want to do something. They're gonna want to try to jump at you, you know. Beasting on me. Beasting on me right there. Wow. I haven't seen anybody. Right, so this is the Orochi. One of the main things Orochis like to do are Storm Rush in certain situations. Shouldn't be afraid of Storm Rush. Not at this point. Not at this point in the seasons. You shouldn't be afraid. You can light them out of it. Of course, they can try to bait that out and deflect your light. They could try to do that, but you can completely take away their Storm Rush. And once they realize that you know how to stop it, every time they Storm Rush, you hit them with a light. They now are trying to do a different thing. They're trying to bait you out. They're not going to be trying to come at you with that Storm Rush. You shouldn't be getting hit with Storm Rush at this point. Matter of fact, let me showcase the Storm Rush mix-up, right? Okay. Do it again. I got hit there, but you know. Nope. Go ahead. Nope. Nope. See? So you shouldn't be afraid of Storm Rush at this point. It's not a good move. So let's see what else. Basically, your biggest problem is the light, the lights, and if you're good at getting away from lights, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Then you're good. You're good. My problem with Orochis is the light spam, you know. Okay. The thing is though, this Orochi is gonna know a little bit more than my opponent would as far as my next move, but yeah, any of these main mix-ups that an Orochi is gonna do, he really doesn't have anything, to be honest with you. He doesn't. But of course there are very good Orochis, but I mean, I know there's some people who struggle with these light attacks. So a remedy for that is not to do that. But when you see that light attack come out, hold on, he's gonna, that's a hold on, see, that's how that goes. But I'm gonna have him throw lights at me then. Light attacks, hello, right? So I see it come out, right? I see his light come out. Throw it. And top guard. Because if that top light comes out and I'm gonna block it, and then I'm gonna dash, and that's gonna open up into a swift strike. So right there, right? You get a slip right there. You slip right through that, and that's some attack right there. That's some offense, quick offense right there. But that's gonna open you up to guard break, so you have to be careful as far as trying to use your Swift Strike as much as I'm advising, I guess. You know, not really advising you to go crazy with Swift Strikes, because at this time most people know how to just sit there and parry it. So, but it is a very good move as far as opening and getting you some damage. Not opening, let me rephrase that, but getting away from attacks, getting away from damage and things like that. You know, it's a good escape move, you know. So I'm not the best at getting away from lights, as far as parrying lights, as far as things like that. It could be a part in my setup, you know what I'm saying. I don't necessarily have, like, you know, the best setup or whatever, but the lights is not very easy for me to parry and react to. So, but I have to find out I had to find out a different way of getting through it. And so oftentimes I'm, you know, using my Swift Strike and relying on that to get away from it. So that's what I use. Another thing would be to focus on the spacing against Orochi, because you'll be susceptible to his zone attack. I've noticed that a lot of Orochis that I've been fighting lately haven't been zoning, but when you have a good Orochi that knows how to use his zone attack, you're going to want to stay away from him. Of course, just you have more range than an Orochi, so you want to, of course, I mean, that's kind of the story against all these assassins, is to keep your space, to stay away from zone attacks and really quick, you know, their quick lights and stuff, so that they have to maybe dodge. You know, it really dictates a lot of you know, situations in the match, as far as how close you are to your opponent. You have a zone, you're a Kensei, you have a zone, so you should be using your zone to your advantage. Staying back a little bit, hitting them with the zone, is gonna be a pretty good a good strategy against assassins, as well as, you know, just using your range against them. So that'll be it for Orochi. We will move on to, okay, so with Gladiator, you want to keep your spacing, especially against Gladiator. Reason being, the toe stab. Of course, the toe stab. Gladiators love to toe stab, right? So you want to keep your distance from a Gladiator. Also, his zone. You want to keep your distance away from a Gladiator and getting up in his face. That's not where you want to be as far as initiating with a Gladiator. Just these quick little things that you do before you fight, you know, in the match, and setting up and where you're gonna be at, can really dictate how this match is gonna go, or this round, or whatever. And these small things count at high level play. So like I'm saying, you know, not knowing where you're supposed to be, you know, versus each character can really change, you know, the outcome of the game, you know. So playing up against a Gladiator, like face to face, is just not a good spot, and that's really not your realm as a Kensei, is really being in the face of someone. Now, granted, there are Kenseis that, you know, their defense is so good, you know, hey, they can just stay in someone's face, but that's just not me. That's not me. So I want to help, you know, I want to help you guys, and I know that some people are not as great at certain things, you know what I'm saying. So if you're anything like me, you know, I'm not the quick, like, I don't have the quickest reactions and things like that, so I have to stay back a little bit. Let's see, what's the next point would be any of his attacks, any of his lights and heavies have a long recovery time, I would say, and can be swift striked. And of course, you can use your hyper armor to get out of any situation. Okay, so like I was saying, you're gonna want to stay away from him, so that, you know, when he does want to zone, and that is the timing for your swift strike, when he does zone. But see, there's spacing. Now if I get up close to him and he hits me with that, it's over. Like, it opens up everything. So the first thing that I like to do is to really just kind of make sure that he doesn't have the space to do that, you know. Because if you have that spacing, he's gonna eat a swift strike every time he tries to, every time he whiffs, every time that zone whiffs, he's getting hit with a swift strike. Same thing with that, the skewer, he's getting hit with a swift strike, you know. So, boom, and it's just timing, you know what I'm saying? As soon as you see somebody leaning somewhere, they dashed somewhere, it's just, you're getting hit, you know what I mean? So it's like a very good counter to just put into anything. So yeah, but then if you want to engage with him, your soft feints, for any assassin, your soft feints are going to be very effective because of their reflex guard. You know, them having to double flick in a certain situation really quickly tends to mess them up, and the timing, you know, a lot of assassins get messed up because of your timing. Your timing is very slow when you're going into your mix-up, and so it messes them up with their reflex guard, and it causes it to all types of problems when you're a Kensei and that timing. I'm sure there's plenty of you guys who are like, you know, I'm an assassin, and I'm like, I just can't get that Kensei timing. It's been that way since Kensei came out, before the rework. You know, his timing on those side heavies has always been kind of like a weird thing, you know. They miss their parry, and then bang, they get smacked in the face. Whole bunch of damage. So I think I'll close out Gladiator with that. And Keeper, the dash attack, I would say you need to take away the dash attack. In order to do so, you need to a zone mix up. We'll go with the zone. We'll go with the zone first. Dashing into her zone, or being quick enough to do so, because it does come out fast. You have to just watch with Peacekeeper. You really have to watch that you're not bled out. You know what I'm saying? You can take a bunch of hits, but you might bleed out, so you want to be careful with that. But that zone comes out quick, but if you're quick enough, you know what I'm saying, it opens up to a lot of stuff. It can open up to, you know, a swift strike, swift strike, and then, you know, your mix up. So be careful of her zone, because that zone is fast. All right. So the next thing would be her cancels. That heavy into cancel. That heavy cancel. As you can see, when you swift strike, she can keep with you too. She can definitely be a nuisance when you're swift striking. Can kind of catch up with you. See, you know what I mean? She's like, hey, I'm over here too. What's up? But but the thing is, you can actually counter. You can counter her dash attack too. If she goes in the wrong area, she goes to the opposite side with her dash attack, you will hit her without, you know what I'm saying, like that. That was like almost it right there. If I can't get her. Come on, dash with me. Alright. I don't think she's gonna cooperate, but the dash, when she dashes, if she were to dash to her left, I would hit her. Right. So there's that. Peacekeeper has really fallen off of her throne, you know, as one of the best characters in the game. All you really have to deal with is the zone not being very predictable, so she can't get those deflects in on you and those bleeds. The cancel is like, you could swift strike out of that, and you know, Peacekeeper is not a very tough character at all. Let me see, her heavy, you know what I'm saying, and every time you see me make her miss, that's 20 damage every time. I'm just gonna dodge though. I'm just gonna dodge. I'm not even gonna swift strike. I'm just gonna dodge, right? So very open, you know, very open, very vulnerable to the swift strike. Probably the best assassin in the game, Berserker, and Berserker can really cause you some problems. That Swift Strike stuff that I've been talking about for the last couple characters, that stuff doesn't work against Berserker. It does a little bit, but for the most part, that Swift Strike can be interrupted. It feels bad. It's something you hate to see. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know. See, I'm all messed up. But yeah, Berserker is a tough tomato. Basically, against a Berserker, you're going to have to use your hyper armor because you know Berserker has hyper armor on a lot of attacks. You're gonna have to use that. All right. So what I advise is your Swift Strike into side heavy, right? So it would go like that, right? That's how you would initiate, right? But that can happen, and you don't want that to happen. But you need that attack to come out. You need that heavy to come out, because what will happen is, for the most part, this isn't going to be a good representation of what you're going to see on the field. And not to forget that zone after 3 attacks, you can parry that. I missed it, but after you get hit 3 times of that parry, you can parry it. And of course, the top for most Berserkers that I fight, that top light really like messes them up. That is the shortcoming for a lot of Berserkers, is they don't block the top, and I hit them a lot. I get them a lot. So when you find yourself in trouble, Berserker is beating you, melting you, you're getting destroyed right here, you're gonna want to Swift Strike out of it and hit him with the hyper armor, right? You're gonna want to Swift Strike out of it, hit him with the hyper armor, right? Of course you're gonna get parried though, of course. But if they throw that heavy, you're gonna trade. See, something like that. And I would say that's your best way of trading with Berserker. And this Berserker is just very good. Not very good, but like, just, you know, it's really nullifying, making me look like an idiot talking about trying to get this hyper armor. But you're gonna have to trade with the Berserker in certain situations, because you're gonna eat like 2 heavies. You need to hit that damage. It becomes really a numbers game in Berserker versus Kensei, I noticed. You need to be getting that damage in as well. You can't like sit around. What I mean by that is that you can't sit around and just sit there and counter over like with a lot of different assassins. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do that with Berserker. You're gonna take damage against a Berserker for the most part, because that's just what it's gonna be. Against a good Berserker, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna take some damage. Oh, that brings me to another point. When an assassin dodges forward, he's trying to get a deflect, right? So you're gonna have to be ready for that guard break. That's how you're gonna get him, you know what I mean? That guard break. Yeah, just don't. You'll a lot of times you'll see that zone coming out. Just swift strike it. You know what I'm saying? More times than not, it's gonna hit almost every time they throw that zone, and you react to it quick enough. It's gonna be a good. That's gonna work there. But yeah, that'll close out Berserker. It can really get you in some guard breaks and some bad stuff. He's gonna make you have a bad day. So you gotta be on your toes against Berserker. And really, he's got that hyper armor. You've got hyper armor as well, but he can get into it easier, you know. So I would just say like swift strike in that follow up heavy that has hyper armor on it, as well as two lights, right? Light, and that's another, you know, another way to get to your hyper armor. Yeah, your heavies and your lights, right? Your heavies and your lights after a swift strike have hyper armor on them, right? So and do not back up. Final tip is do not back up against a berserker, because you will be guard broken. For the most part, you can get away with being aggressive against a shinobi, and there's not much they can really do about it, you know. It's crazy as hell. Alright, anyway, what the I've never actually seen a shinobi roll under my swift strike like that before. But the thing is, you're gonna keep catching him though, right? If he keeps doing the same thing, you know what I mean? You're a helicopter and he just kind of orbits around you basically, right? So his dodges, a lot of times he's gonna get in trouble. Now a person's not gonna throw that out as much, so that kind of sucks. That he's not really giving me a good read here, but that is a pretty good tool to use against a Kensei. There you go. You can kind of just roll under his swift strike. I didn't know that. But anyways, as far as shinobis, you stay away from their light attacks. Their kicks are very easy to dodge. You dodge that, it's gonna be a swift strike every time. And yeah, that's it. And you just kind of play just very easy. Like, it's not very much you have to do here. Just about everything's gonna work, and that's it. I don't know. Shinobis just don't really give me a big problem as a Kensei, and that might not be the same for everyone. But like I say, I just kind of keep my spacing, stay away from their light attacks. That's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, well, I don't know what is gonna work here. So I mean, like, if he kicks me or something like that, I mean, okay, I can get out of that. You know what I mean? So the kick, man, just dodge the kick, and he's pretty much done. There's nothing he can do. Dodge the kick, swift strike, turn it into a combo after that, and that's it. Also, if he's dodging around a whole bunch, which, hold on, let me see if I can get him to just dodge. Let me see here. What do we got? Kick, follow, back flip. Right, he's gonna focus more on kicks. Okay, what? Right. Right. See how many times I can get out of his kick, right? Every time I dodge and he's vulnerable, like, boom, that's a hit. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all it is. It's just the Kensei's range is just so on the shinobi that it's just like, I don't know. It's very hard to escape it, you know. Playing Kensei versus shinobi and being a shinobi fighting a Kensei, I can kind of feel both sides. You know what I'm saying? It's tough, that range. That's terrible. I don't know what that is. What mix-up is that? The training session has failed me. Bunch of lights. What else does he have? I would say just, yeah, the dodging, double dodge. All right, so he's just gonna double dodge around. Double dodge. There you go. That's gonna get most shinobis most of the time, right? You throw an attack out, bang, you're gonna catch him every time. Not every time, but for the most part, the majority of the time, he's going to want to double dodge, and as soon as he double dodges, bang, he gets caught. Any variation of that, he's getting caught, right? It works so good every time, and that happens against people. So I know this is just a bot, but you know. I mean, that's rare that you actually catch them like that, but I would say, yeah, just turning that into a guard break, you really get them more times than not. It's a pretty good strategy as far as it, you know, being somewhat safe and just catching him vulnerable. You know, if you have a really tough time getting away from the kick, sometimes you just kind of have to initiate with the shinobi and get him to start moving around. And then once he starts moving around, it's all chocolate milk, barbecue chicken. You know what I'm saying?
That is my advice to old men.
After this, I was gonna go over Nusha, but Nusha is basically the same thing, just a bunch of lights, stay away from her traps, and you know, and Swift Strike when you need the Swift Strike. Nothing really too crazy about Nusha. So after this, I'll leave you with some live duels against assassins, so you can kind of see more of like real situations rather than me just practicing on a training dummy. You can actually see me fight an assassin and see what my strategy is and how I go about it. Alright, peace. Hit me with a like or subscribe possibly if I didn't just waste your time, and I'm out. Peace.
What are you doing here? And why did you fight with me?
Alright, so that was the video.
And I have discovered that you are really as good a fighter as you have professed to be. You have come to the Golden Buddha. And I think you are worthy of it. Go on. The miracle can be yours. It is time somebody else knew of this great miracle. And you are the one I have chosen. I've decided that you are the one whose fighting is expert enough.
Sahu! 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 I arrived just too late. I just found out 5 days recall time between 1 o'clock and victory. Only then can you kill here, man. So Round 3. Escape. Sahu. The time. Sahu.
Stay away from her traps, and in Swift Strike, when you need the Swift Strike, nothing really too crazy about Nuja. So after this, I'll leave you with some live duels against assassins, so you can kind of see more of like real situations, rather than me just practicing on a training dummy. You can actually see me fight an assassin and see what my strategy is and how I go about it.